Hi guys, so today I'm going to be making chicken piccata, and right now I'm just showing you everything that you're going to need, and I will go through and show you individually all the things that you're going to need to make this. Okay, so the first thing that you are going to need is chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I just got mine at Giant Eagle, so. The next thing that you are going to need is chicken broth or white wine. You could use white wine also, the same amount calls. The next thing you're going to need is capers. I really like capers, so I got two, but one jar will do. You only use about half of this in what I use. I only use about half that jar. The next thing you're going to need is salted butter. Then you'll need some flour. All-purpose flour will do just fine. And olive oil. I had extra light olive oil, but regular extra virgin olive oil will do fine also. That's just what I had already at home. You're definitely going to need some shredded Parmesan cheese. This is the best. I love Parmesan cheese. But finely shredded, regularly shredded, it doesn't really matter. That's all they had at the grocery store. Next, you'll need some lemon juice. You only need a couple tablespoons of this, so if you have a real lemon, you can just as easily squeeze that. You need, I think, only 2 tablespoons. Next, you're going to need some parsley. You only really need about a bunch of this, or one handful of this, but you can only buy them in bunches at the grocery store, so that's what I have. Next, you're going to need some pepper and some salt. I'm pretty sure I used maybe a teaspoon of each. I didn't really measure. You'll see. But I didn't really measure the salt and pepper. So you're going to need a really, really big skillet. A really, really big skillet. I wouldn't use a wok in this situation just because it probably wouldn't work the same way. I forgot to tell you that you need, you could use a meat tenderizer as long as it has a flat side. Anything that has a flat side that you could pound the chicken out with will do fine. You don't want to use the pointy side of a meat tenderizer. Okay, next you're going to take your chicken breasts out and wash them off in water. And you're going to cut them open down the middle like this. This is like to butterfly the chicken to make them thinner. So you just cut straight down or across. Next, you're going to take some cling wrap and place your chicken breast that you have butterflied out into pieces, and you're going to place another piece of cling wrap on top of them because you're going to pound these to make them thinner. So I started to use the meat tenderizer part, and I realized that didn't work. So you use the flat side, and it works a lot better. And you just want to do that until it's about 1/4 of an inch thin. I would say the thinner the better, not too thin, but you just want to be able to cook it all the way through by cooking it on each side about 3 to 5 minutes, so as thin as that gets. So the next thing you're going to do is take your olive oil and you want to coat the bottom of your pan. This is really important because you're going to put your chicken in there and you don't want it to be too oily, but you want enough to coat the bottom of the pan. So you should evenly coat just like that, and you want to put your stove on medium to get that oil hot. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a flour, and you're going to take a 1/2 cup of your cheese and your salt and pepper. And you want to add that all together. There's salt in there, but you can't really see it because the bowl is white. Okay, so I didn't measure how much flour I used, but I think it's about maybe a little bit more than a 1/2 cup of flour. And you want to take a fork, not a spoon. You want to take a fork and mix everything together. If you take a spoon, I find that it kind of just clumps together. Your flour clumps together like too much, and if you take a fork, it just easily mixes everything without everything being clumped together. It just mixes easier. So you want to make sure that all of your mixture is nicely put together, like so. So the next thing that you're going to do is take 2 tablespoons of butter and add them to your oil. This is going to be very hot because that oil is hot, and your butter is going to brown. It won't burn, but it is going to brown. And yeah, so you could turn your heat down a little bit, but you want it to be nice and brown. So next you're going to take the chicken breast that you pounded out, and you want to put them into your cheese flour mixture. I moved it to a plate it's easier that way, obviously, than putting that big old piece of chicken into a bowl. I use my tongs to pat the coating, or to pat the chicken, or the mixture onto the chicken. But you can easily do this with your hands. I was holding the camera with one hand, so it made it a little bit more difficult. But if I didn't have the camera, I would have just placed the chicken on there and patted the mixture down onto the chicken a couple times on each side just to get it coated. It doesn't have to be heavy coated. And I would have done that. You want to put your chicken into the pan. You could see that where the butter is browned already in the pan. And I did turn the heat down a little bit because it just seemed like it was going to fry more than just cook. So you want to repeat this step into your pan. You only put about 3 pieces of chicken in the pan at a time. You don't want to crowd the pan at all. It'll just make it harder to deal with, and it'll be harder to cook. I put 3 pieces in at a time. That worked fine. I only made 2 batches. So once your chicken has a little color to it, you can tell that it's cooked through. You want to flip it over and cook it 3 to 5 minutes on the next side, or until your chicken is all the way done. And it should look like this when it's done. So the next thing is you're going to move your chicken to a pan or something that you could put in the oven, like this. You want to be able to put this in the oven on the lowest setting. The lowest that my oven would go is 170, and so that's what it was at. You don't want to cook the chicken. Your chicken should already be fully cooked, but you do want to keep it warm because you have to make the sauce, and I had to put another batch of chicken together. But after that, after you're done with your chicken, you need to take what's in the pan, and you need to add 2/3 of a cup of the capers that are drained. There shouldn't be very much moisture in those capers. You also want to add a half a cup of chicken broth or white wine. And you just want to take a spatula and you want to scrape the bits off the bottom of the pan and get all the good stuff from the chicken. And that's going to be a part of your sauce. And it's going to be really good. You just want to make sure you get all of it. And you're going to need a little bit of lemon juice, but I had to stop to pour it, to measure it. So you need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And you just want to mix that all together and let it all marry. So you want to leave that alone just for a second. It won't take long, just to get it to simmer a little bit and mix everything together. And it should look like this. And then you want to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And that is your sauce. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay, so you're going to take your chicken out of your oven and you want to put this in the pan with your sauce. You want everything to mix together nicely and already have the sauce kind of on the chicken and ready to go. When you serve this, you'll just take a piece of chicken out and scoop some sauce out with it. It should look like that when you're done. And you want to just flip it around and make sure everything's coated, but it is really good. Oof, my capers look like peas, but they're not peas, they're capers. So that's it. I'll insert a picture at the end to show you what it looked like. You want to take a little bit of that parsley and sprinkle it on top, and my dad decided to put Parmesan cheese on his, so I'll insert that next. But thank you so much for watching.